Today's video is about Activity 213 in Computer Science Essentials, excuse me, from the distance learning support. And it is, so we're working on Activity 213 from Computer Science Essentials, lists in the distance learning support. This is going to be this. So the first thing we have to do is we have to follow our instructions and open up VexVR. I have VexVR bookmarked under my Computer Science Essentials tab. So I'm going to open from here. Students, you do a right click here to open VexVR. Now remember that if you get a pop-up like that and it says student or educator, you sign in as a student, or if it says, like my screen just did, to sign in for free, you just go ahead and sign in for free. So you're going to notice something interesting right here. It does not start on number 1, it starts on number 23. So the very first thing we have to do is we have to create a block. And that block is our variable. We have to create a new variable and a new command. From VexVR, go to My Blocks. You go to Make a Block. Your block name is going to be the instructions to start on 23. Okay, and then you're going to click OK, and now you have a definition block. So we need to start at 23, and to make this list of defining start at 23, you're defining the instructions. To define the instructions, you actually have to make the instructions to go here. This block is going to go there. You have to define what it is you want this block to do. And the very first thing we needed to do is we have to start at 23. So how do we get to 23? Let's open our playground. Use the number grid. Have your look out so you can make some notes about this. There's a number of ways you can get to 23. So whatever you want your going to 23 is going to be. So in this case, I'm going to come up to my drivetrain and I want to turn 90 degrees to the right. This is my example. This is how my brain works. This is how I'm going to set up my instructions to get to 23. There's a number of different ways. You can do drive forward that you're used to and then drive. You could do a zigzag, however you want to do it. Okay. So I want to turn right 90 degrees, and it's going here because we're defining the instructions. So I'm going to go here, turn right 90 degrees, and then I want to go forward. Remember, these are 200 millimeters. I want to go forward to 4 because I'm trying to get here. So I want to drive forward after I turn. Drive forward, how many? 2, 4. 400 millimeters. And then that'll put me right here. So then I'm going to want to turn left. Remember, these drop downs are here. Click that. I want to turn left 90 degrees so that I can end up here. There again, I'm going to go, and then I'm going to drive forward to 4. Drive forward. 400. And then I can put a command in of stop driving. Okay. Put a command in of stop driving. So if I click, let me get this guy out of the way. If I click my run on my playground, where'd he stop? He stopped on 23 where I want him. And pointing the correct direction. So now we're working on this pattern right here. I'm going to do very little talking from now on. I'm going to be picking my blocks and setting up my path to end on 56. Okay. So I'm going to hide this just because I need the room. Pull this down. Again, this is only one way to complete this assignment and to complete this work. So I'm going to use this as my reference instead of opening my playground, because that'll block a lot of you from the video, from the recording. You'll notice I'm not attaching anything to this right now. So I'm going to start, drive forward 200, turn right, drive forward 200, turn right again. Remember, you have to put the degrees in there, because if you just select a turn right, it's just going to spin, 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 spin. So now I'm going to drive forward to 400. Change that to 400. And then I'm going to turn right. Drive forward to 4. Places me here. I'm going to turn right. Now I have to go 2, 4, 6. Then I'm going to turn right. And then I'm going to drive forward 2, 4, 6. Then I already know I'm going to turn right. Now I'm going to drive forward 2, 4, 6, 8. And I already know I'm going to turn right 90 degrees. Two, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Hopefully you've noticed a pattern by now. And then I'm going to turn right 90 degrees again. So that puts me here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which is 1,000. That puts me at 51. Then I'm going to turn right again, 90 degrees. And then guess, how many am I going to drive forward? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Another 1,000 millimeters. Okay. If we open our playground right now and we try to run this, let's reset, let's run. Nothing's going to happen. But our start at 23 works. So this has nothing to do with anything anymore, okay? We'll try this. But if we were to do it in one giant row, that's exactly what it would look like. And I'm going to show you in just a second. So if we take this and we add it here, which is not the lesson. We need to have our loops and our list in here, but watch. So let's watch. So there it goes. There we go. Stops at 56. We're supposed to stop. We're going to stop. We can see it took 24 seconds. So you notice that I was just showing you that all of this is correct. Let's put this off to the side. And we need to remember to go to our looks because we need to have our pen down. Okay. Set pen precision. You can change that. Rows. Here's your colors. Do you want to have a nice thick drawing? Then you can go from thin to extra wide. You can change it in that if you want to change that. Set pen color. Or you can even fill area with color. But either way, you have to have move pen down. Have to have it. You can choose this set pen color, or you can choose this. And if you click on here, it's going to allow you to adjust your own colors. And this is what your final color would look like down here. Okay. This is called a RGB scale. Red, green, blue. Stands for red, green, blue. RBG. So let's take a look and let's see if we put that back in there. What happens? There we go. So we know it works. We know we have all the right instructions here, but now we have to turn it into lists and loops. So let's reset that. Hide that. Let's pull this here. So don't forget, do not set the pen color until after the start 23 block. So you need some set blocks, and you have to create a variable. Okay? So make a variable. And we need to count these, we need to rename this count loops. Oops, no spaces. So you put an underscore. And then watch. Now it's there. Now, a lot of people that watch my videos first out, you're going to go, well, why is she just doing the code? Because as a student, you have already tried this. You have already followed all the directions. Okay, you can use it. You can put a comment code in here if you need to. I didn't show you that one, but this is a comment. This does not show up in the code at all. So I'm going to do something here, and I'll show you what I mean. So I can put a comment right there. Full path, no loops or lists. Something else I like you to use the comment for whenever you do coding and you're doing a comment of any kind is take a comment. You can do this. Take a comment. And look, put it right there. And put your last name, first initial, class period. In this case, it's distance learning lesson 2.1.3. And this is another way to tag it so that I know this is your work. So this is always good to have. When we start coding in Python for functioning codes, you'll be able to see a way to hide comments in your Python code too that the user will not see. But that's for the future. There's some funny stories out there in the world about codes that have secret messages in them. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back over to my lessons. So here's a sample starter code. Always use this, and I will give you a clue right now. My sample starter code is going to look just like this right here. There's no, as long as it works and you have your loops and your lists, you're going to be excellent. But for starting out, I would really recommend that you use what is provided here. And then as you learn it, you can adjust it to your own code. Should there be able to be anything in there that you need to. So I wanted to note right here, 12. A lot of times in PL2W, they're going to tell you how to title your work. And this right here is good. This is my personal preferred classroom. Your last name, first initial, class period, and then what lesson you're doing. So again, in this case, it's the distance learning DL213. So we are talking about Python, so we're talking about practicing your Python skills. Again, this is a check answer. Okay, the question here, we're going to talk about in class, but read this before you get to here. Read the whole lesson before you ever even start working. Talks about one-dimensional lists. Okay, a list example. So make a list. We're not going to worry about that right now. All right, so let's write the code before we go any farther for this, based on the sample code I showed you before. So we need to find our while right here. We need some operators, which are also known as math functions. And we need an operator that is less than. Okay, oop. There it is. There's my while. You notice it won't go in there? It's because we don't have anything in here yet. So we have to have total loops. Do you see total loops and variables right here? No. We have to make a total loop. Okay. Now we can get total loop. It goes here. Now betcha. Let's see if that'll fit in there. Yep, that'll go there. So our total loops, so if our total loops are less than, and be prepared to answer me why this is less than 5. Why did I select less than 5? Be prepared. We need another while. And look, I'm going to show you a secret. Pull that out. Duplicate. This while is going to go here. So while our total loops, and then we have to count our loops. So we have to pull that one out. Get in there. There we go. And while our count loops are less than 2, you ready? We need one more. And we have to make another variable because we have to tell it to move forward here. So now we need our move forward. And you'll notice these come up alphabetically. Move forward, put them in there. And actually with this, we have a different math loop we have to put in there, or a math command we have to put in there. Because while we're moving forward, and our total loops, we have to increase by 1. So this whole thing needs to come out. Let's move him out of there. We can get rid of this. So we need that is how you make a 3-part math problem. Okay, so while our move forward, oh, come on, get in there, there we go. While our move forward is less than our total loops, that to 1. All of that goes in there. So while we're moving forward, but our total loops are great. Total loops, we're adding 1. Let's put this right here. And I'm going to show you, we're going to count these over here. Okay. So now we go back to our drivetrain. So the first thing we need to do, so our total loops, while our total loops are less than 5 and while our count loops are less than 2, we need to move forward is less than the total loops. Doing math here, my friends. We have to drive forward 200. Oh, come on, here we go. Drive forward 200. And then we have to do something else. We have to change change our move forwards by 1. Then we'll go back to our touchscreen. Now remember, we have our turns in here. We're only turning right. Turn right 90 degrees. That goes inside this while loop. These are your loops. These are control loops. You're setting your loops here. Okay. Okay, we have our turn right 90 degrees. And now we need, okay, again, turn right 90 degrees. And we need to tell it by using our variables. We need to give it a set instruction to move forward. We don't want to count our loops. You gotta remember that you have to change these. You gotta change those. And then we need to change our instructions. And in this case, we do need it to change to count loops, and we do need it to change by only 1. Okay? Now we have another set of commands we need to put within this, inside the primary loop that is in list, that is controlling all of this. So we need to pull out a set count loop that goes in here. And we're going to leave that at 0. And then we need to pull out one more change. And this time it needs to be our total loops. Total loops. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, it's hiding. Hang on. Change our total loop, and we're only changing it by 1. Okay? So remember, this is 1. 2, and then we're going to change it by 1 by adding 1. That's where this +1 comes in. So after we're done with our move forwards, then our total loops, we need to add 1. So here, add 1, total loop, add 1, total loops, total loops. Okay. And then you can add a you can come up to your drivetrain and you can get a stop driving, or you can go to the event, the control, and you can get your controls and you can do stop project if you want. It's not going to stop the timer, but it's an added little security that you're going to, stop what you're doing. What your robot is doing. Your robot's going to stop what it's doing, and but the clock will keep running. Okay, it doesn't let the robot sit there and keep working. All right, so let's open this and just refresh for security's sake, and let's see what happens. So the stop project programming did work. Sometimes it doesn't, because this is a virtual online. Sometimes it doesn't. And I want to run it one more time, and I want you to watch my code over here. Okay, I want you to watch this over here. So as the code was working, did you notice that when it was moving to 23, that these drivetrain blocks were flashing? And then as it started laying out its path with its color, did you notice that only the drivetrain commands were the ones that were flashing to show you what it was doing? And then every once in a while you would see a little jerk, like a pause jerk. That's because it was doing the math. The program was doing the math about, okay, what do I do now? Oh, I add one. Oh, okay, so I move forward one more. Okay, I got it. So I count my loops by one more. All right, so I change by one. Okay, so that is the code. Read the entire lesson, 213. We're going to start talking about lists in Python. And we're going to start talking about lists in general in distance learning. So the next coding assignment is going to, again, we're going to use VR Vex. And then you're going to do a list for a code. Any questions? You know how to reach me.